not here yet have said, we believe that a European team can actually win this. We're not there yet, not by a long shot. But you can really see that the South Korean teams all of a sudden have to fight for their victories, and they have to fight a lot. So if the European teams get condescending right now, they're going to get punished hard. But at least it's even battles at this point. Dignitas can win this, but they have to show exactly what they showed in this game, perfect coordination.
Going to be on Dragonshire next, Grubby.
Yeah, Meriday's favorite map. The most traditional MOBA map, he said, where there's a more extended laning phase. Everyone kind of 1v1ing, 2v2ing, ganking each other. You forced to stay north and south because of the Dragon Knight threat. And yeah, so it's his favorite map. Not surprised to see that one. Actually, Dignitas picked it, right? They showed, I think it was wrong on the overlay, but yeah, that must be the pick from... Oh yeah, Dignitas picked it, so they gave the map pick to Dignitas. Meriday's favorite map.
So, Fan, what are your thoughts coming into this draft now? Game number 2. Dignitas leads 1-0 against MVP Black.
Well, I mean, if Dignitas did pick this map, and it looks like MVP Black has first pick, so Dig did pick it, they probably also have a plan. I mean, first thing, Stitches is also good in the rotate on this map, but, you know, outside of that, I just want to see Dignitas' first few picks, because I think it'll speak a lot in terms of what they plan on doing on this map.
I have to also say that this is personally my favorite map to cast, probably. The games on this map are always insane.
Yeah.
And it's one of the maps where you are more or less guaranteed to head into a long game. So this is why a lot of teams have started to pick in the later stage Nazeebo. I believe especially in North America, Nazeebo has been extremely popular here.
Yeah, North America, Nazeebo has been rising in popularity here. Surprisingly, we don't see many Nazeebo picks in this tournament here. It was actually pretty popular in both Korea and Europe for a while, but dropping a little bit in this particular tournament.
I think a lot of teams have actually started to really learn how do I punish this weaker early game towards late game, which is probably one of the reasons why the hero has fallen. And I mean, we have very, very dive-heavy comms here.
Yeah, that could definitely be why Nazeebo has not shown up too much here. We see Dignitas banning out the Genji. Ooh, MVP Black with the instant Dahaka. I don't know if that's the right choice, because if Dig wants it, they have their new mouth yet again. I really don't like it when people give Dignitas a new mouth. I think they're very scary with that combo, especially when you don't even have an Uther to deal with it.
And think about how this tournament started. It was Korea and China not really focusing as much on Anubarak as the European teams, and then later on they started to adapt heavily. Now they're giving the potential Anubarak over to one of the teams that excelled with that hero, besides Fnatic. So
I just see Dignitas raising their eyebrows and saying, is there anything else we should be picking here?
Yeah.
And they decide the answer is yes. They get Anubarak, do not prioritize the Malfurion, and they go with the Abathur. Now, you kind of got to wonder that Abathur, his record right now is something like 15-3 in this tournament. And Black, they've been kind of leading up to this. They ban Uther, they take Dahaka. Dahaka is one of the best counters to Abathur. And so it would have been possible for Black to still run Abathur. And Dignitas takes it instead.
Yeah, I think Dignitas has something planned here. The Abathur is not a hero you see on Dragonshire. You almost never see it picked here. So to pick it in the 1-2 means that they have something in mind, and it needs to have an Abathur to make it work. That's the only reason I would see such high priority.
But it's a bit strange. Now, Abathur, of course, he's going to play a lot safer against Dahaka, but even just his Locust push, his Mercenary-empowered pushes, they get stopped easier by someone like Dahaka. And Medivh comes out. That is so weird. You don't even know the damage type of Team Dignitas yet, and you bring out Medivh, who is designed to deal with certain damage types. This is very strange to me that Black does this at this rotation.
Caldo?
I have a bit of an idea what we might see by Dignitas here. I just don't want to spoil it in case they decide to go down a different path.
Okay.
But they have shown some really aggressive dive comps in the past, and Abathur has usually led to a very aggressive playstyle. We have on this map seen Abathurs even with Chens. We have seen very heavy domination around that. So that's a possible path for them for sure. But Dignitas definitely has a few drafts where they believe, okay, we are throwing in a slight curveball and see how our opponent reacts, and this could be one of them that we are going to see.
Now, if Dignitas bans Arthas, they imply that they will be taking Illidan later. But they ban Li Ming. Li Ming's also pretty good against Illidan.
You know, Illidan is actually also a very good point, because if you think about the Dignitas of old, they actually ran this a few times, and we have seen teams approach Illidan compositions very differently. Either you go into a very teamfight heavy style where you go into the metamorphosis, but you can also in a lot of maps play around the hunt quite a lot. Say you make the move to the top lane with the hunt later on if there's an isolated hero. Abathur helps you out, you get the kill, and you have that pseudo-global that helps you to soak off lanes, but you can always join the team fights. So there's a lot of potential of what you can do if you go down that path.
Are we going to see another second Shocker ban from Black after they banned the seemingly irrelevant Diablo, something we haven't seen Dignitas run? Like, Chen, yeah, he's been good, but has Dignitas really picked it up?
Dignitas hasn't, but the thing is, we are talking about tournaments always developing their own meta, and now that they've seen other Korean teams use it, maybe they're just afraid that it goes up against them. So I feel at this point, they have two things to consider here. Illidan ban is, I think, a great idea by them, but the Chen ban, I'm not sure if I would have objected to that either, just because they have to ask themselves, what are we afraid of? What can really hurt us here? And they probably played against that Chen from L5 with Abathur in certain combos as well in scrims.
Surely, though, there's no way Abathur has come in that early for Dignitas for them to not anticipate an Illidan ban on the other side.
Yeah, of course. And I think they probably have Tusk Tracer prepared in this rotation. It would make a lot of sense. Celia used to be a Tracer player. He's still good. I'm sure someone else could.
Greymane. You
Greymane?
can pick a Greymane if you want. If they, I mean, I agree with you, by the way.
The point is there's a lot of options,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. There's options. You could go the Tracer route. You could go into a Greymane. Even if you just have a double frontline once again with an Arthas, for example, you could use the copy on the Arthas. So there is options that you have.
The thing is, none of these things really make sense to me in regards to the second pick Abathur. If you wanted those things, why don't you just last pick Abathur? No one really bans it on this map, you know? So it's kind of MVP Black with the hovering between the Chen and the Illidan ban. I feel like they don't really know what's going on. I feel like I don't really know what's going on either. And
that makes 9 of us then.
Yeah.
I would actually agree on that statement. I like it that they do that, and we have seen it in Europe a bit. But in this tournament, it hasn't really played a role, and I think Dignitas could have taken that gamble. The chance that it's being banned out, since Abathur wasn't really used here yet, were really low. So I think that's a gamble you can take. But they seem to be really afraid that it's banned away from them.
Farin's a cool counter pick to Sonya, as he can get the healing reduction, which is pretty nice. Sonya has so many kinds of self-heal.
True.
He's also a really great hero if you're expecting cheese. If you're expecting something, like he's one of those heroes that counters a lot of the unexpected things so that he can deal with that. So that might be one of the adjustments where they first of all are saying, as you said, you can counter the Sonya, you can also lock down on the target, you can follow up with the roots on the Malfurion, but you also have something that no matter what Dignitas picks now, you feel a little bit safer.
But there are no more surprises, right? I mean, the last one is going to be support. I guess I would say recant
Karazhan?
my statement if it's Morales or Lily.
I would say with the Abathur, they could even play a Karazhan here. There's a lot of aggression that we have seen quite a lot.
What about Lucio? No cleanse, live dangerously.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. It's a little too dangerous for me.
That would be a short-lived life.
Okay.
And they do go with the Monk here. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to play with Abathur on D-Shard. The Sonya is a winning matchup into the Dahaka top lane. Add an Abathur hat onto that, it should be an extremely winning matchup. So maybe they just got used to playing with Abathur on this map and they're confident with it. It does throw a wrench into MVP's plans.
Yeah.
No one really does this Abathur composition on Dragon, so...
And I mean, to be honest, watching Snitch go, he uses Abathur against L5 in particular was something that was very inspired, I feel, but the way he was playing it. So he's definitely very versed in a lot of weird situations that are able to get them a slight edge, I would say.
He said it's his favorite hero?
Yeah. So what are we looking at? What are we thinking about these drafts, boys, so far? How they match up against one another?
I mean, there's a few surprises from Dig. Tychus is taken the same time as Sonya. Tychus counters Sonya well, so that's the thing. Abathur was relatively early, but for the most part, it's kind of just a gentlemanly draft with Dignitas. They threaten a lot, but they never really follow through on the mega cheese. It's kind of really a docile draft. It just works. It's got a lot of good heroes. It's well-rounded, and it has good map control with Abba.
Time for predictions, Skaldop.
I actually believe that this time MVP Black is going to turn it around, just going to take the map.
Grubby.
I like everything about MVP Black's draft against Dignitas. There's one thing I don't like, and it's Medivh. I don't get why he would be taken here, and I don't think he will be... This is scary because it's Medivh, but I don't think he will be particularly effective here. I'm going to go with Dignitas again.
Yeah, well, the thing with the Medivh, I think, is that Dignitas' draft is weird. They have like this Tychus plus Monk. Maybe they're planning on burning the tank or something, so I can see the Medivh helping if that's their plan. But right now, I don't really see what Dignitas' plan is, so I'm going to have to go with MVP. I think they have overall a strong draft.
All right, thank you guys. Let's check in with chat to see what they think going into game number 2. Even still in favor of Team Dignitas, as they do have the 1-0 lead at the moment. Time now to head over to our commentary team. Game number 2. Team Dignitas leads 1-0 against MVP Black.
Team Dignitas up 1 game so far in this best of 5 over MVP Black. Team Dignitas finally got the 1 victory they were hoping for, but can they continue that to win the series trick?
We'll have to see. Trends this tournament is, yes, to continue to win against Korean teams, but we'll have to see how they pull this Abathur out and what they're going to do with it. Here on the left side, in the blue, it's going to be MVP Black, Kyocha on Dihaka, Merryday on Malfurion, Sake on Medivh, Tist on Varian, and Reset will be playing Greymane.
And the members of Team Dignitas in the red with JPL playing Anubarak, Snitch on Abathur, Mene playing Tychus, Zalia playing Sonya, and Bakery playing Karazim.
All right, so I'm going to keep an eye on this Abathur. Typically, you see them put it in the middle of the map, and they go ahead and just drop mines everywhere, but Abathur actually heads to the bottom lane right away, so the Locust will passively be pushing in that area. They can also set up their mines right here in the middle in this Bermuda Triangle. You'll see lots of mines throughout the entire game, and I'm going to keep an eye on MVP Black, because they have a pretty solid, aggressive strategy here with Dihaka and, of course, Varian at level 10.
Abathur has been so strong this event, and not only is it a favorite or the favorite hero of Snitch, but it is statistically his best. He does so much damage with his Abathur. And he's already looking like maybe he wants to build into more of a symbiote build with that pressurized glands at level 1. We'll have to see how far down he goes in that build, but it could enable him to do a lot of damage if he tries to build into things like stat. This looks like the first blood claimed by Team Dignitas.
Wow, I can't believe that. MVP Black got really aggressive in the middle, went in for turrets, and Dignitas just converged on the area. Sonya sneaking down and coming in for the engage, and they get a kill on Merryday. Now, that was 1 kill traded out for a turret, but Team Dignitas looking for kills while MVP Black staying a little bit too long, especially with the Medivh on the field.
Yeah, and it takes a little bit of time before we'll see Tist ramp up and being able to control and heal for his teammates. He's looking for that level 10 of getting taunt. But I like the way that MVP Black plays this battleground when they have Medivh, and that's using the Medivh for super fast rotations between mid and bot, trying to control that. So far, though, Shrine's controlled by Dig.
Yeah, Dig controlling that top lane so well. The Sonya call out from Fan earlier really coming to fruition as he continues to destroy that lane. Dihaka looking on the right side and the top right. And overall, Dignitas now plays a little bit on the safe side, especially in the bottom. With the Medivh portal in into Kyocha possibly burrowing in, you have to be careful. But Sonya is the one that will keep that aggression up in the top lane and control that Shrine.
Mene has once again chosen Dash at level 1. It is a good battleground for collecting the regen globes, and it will help out trying to get away from things like Varian, or especially Dihaka. If he hears the stock coming in, he can run and gun and get that range increase too, as well as the movement speed after the fact.
Mene really loves that talent. He's been playing it for months, man. He was one of the original users of that talent. Again, you get the extra range once you finish out that quest, so we'll see him bobbing and weaving and such later on. Don't know about the actual 20 talent, but still, he'll be bobbing around and doing such. Now, I'm looking at Dignitas again. They do have really good mercenary control. Sonya in particular, Karazim as well when it comes to the Giants, but this is what they do well. They converge into the middle lane. If they can get on a target and get a kill, it's so great for them. But Medivh is showing up, Sake with the force of will to make sure to save Reset.
All 5 members of MVP Black have converged onto the mid, whereas Tychus and Abathur are continuing to try to push that bottom lane. But it has seemed that MVP Black have been surprised a couple of times now from rotations into that mid from Team Dignitas. They need to make sure that their communication's on point, calling those out immediately so that nobody gets caught. In that case, though, Sake made it in time for a great force of will.
Yeah, Dignitas is doing really well here with an Abathur composition. Usually you're in a bit of a scared spot in terms of fights, especially on this battleground in particular where you need that map control, especially for Giants in the bottom, left and right. But they're controlling it so well that it's actually been pretty solid. MVP Black has elected for the strategy to push in the middle lane instead to put stress on that lane, but Dignitas so far has been holding overall really well and keeping up an experience.
We have a different build for Reset playing Greymane, more of a melee focus, getting Wolf Heart and Eyes in the Dark, which will help too when trying to disengage away from this heavy damage composition of Team Dignitas. We'll see if he's going to go as far as Wizened Duelist at 7. We had one instance of that already today, or if he'll get something more safe like Quicksilver Bullets.
Yeah, generally going into that level 4 does indicate that you will be going for that level 7. We'll see if that is the choice here for our Greymane. No, he is not going to be moving into it. So, bit of a different pickup for our Greymane. We'll see how that pays off for him. As a Giants, this is what you're normally having to deal with if you pick an Abathur, pushing into the bottom lane, get cleared up by Dignitas, but MVP Black are just defending it so well that JPL is having a hard time getting on the engage.
Since the first blood of Team Dignitas, it's been a fairly passive game back and forth, but this time by forcing the positioning in that bottom and Dahaka taking top, MVP Black claimed the first Dragon Knight of the game.
That was all orchestrated really well. They put pressure on the bottom lane with the Giants. JPL taking too much damage on a Nubarak, had to back and head home, and that extra body not being available is where that Dragon comes here for MVP Black, and they start to open up the battleground. Remember, they open the turrets in the middle? They're going to put their Dragons right there and start applying damage to the fort, while everyone else is heading to the bottom to push on in and break down the tower. Now, Zelia, oh my gosh, he's actually getting really low here. It seems he got dragged there and took some damage.
Sake still building up his Master's Touch stacks, but yeah, their rotation between mid and bottom has netted MVP Black so much with this first Dragon Knight. It is crazy that they took out 2 forts with 1 Dragon Knight.
Yeah, so open up the middle and the bottom. This is great for them if they get to level 10 here and they're able to set up the next rotation for grabbing a Dragon. They start moving in on key walls. Middle or bottom doesn't mind for them, as they would love to keep that advantage moving forward. Well, Dignitas, their main goal here is to get towards 10. And one of the ways they're doing it is going in for an engage. Zelia missing out on the Ancient Spear, but Kyocha still taking damage. Will he fall? He's burrowed for now, and yes! That will be a kill here for Dignitas.
The burrow location was not far back in time. Dignitas were willing to make the commitment to get that kill, and just in time because MVP Black are almost their level, getting heroic abilities. But it's important that MVP Black at the same time has put on as much pressure as they have, since they are up against an Abathur composition of Team Dignitas.
That's right, and I love that the moment Dignitas got that kill, they tried to get away instantly. MVP Black could have burrow stalked in, came in and got into a fight right away because they are level 10 at the moment. Now, Dignitas starts to mercs in the top right corner, but with Medivh floating around, they're playing safe. They have to. They need a quarter level of experience before they can start to match their opponents, and MVP Black is playing this as well. They play aggressively, they move in, they grab the opposing Giant so they can keep pressuring that bottom.
Another isolation for Dahaka over getting the safety of adaptation. He hits a drag. JPL's here too. A lot of members of MVP Black in the bottom, so nobody going to capitalize fully on the drag, although Tist is trying to make it work. Quick cocoon to stop that right away.
Yes, Medivh's on the way here. Should be able to portal out the teammate here. We're going to have Tisk, yes, just in a spot where he can get out. And that cocoon, this is one of the ways to deal with that. If you think your tank's going to get burned down, drop Force of Will, make sure to give him an escape. Sonya engaged on Zelia, starts spinning here, hoping to lifesteal.
Yeah, the problem with the cocoon
Sake?
versus the taunt is that you can get a lot more taunts than you can the cocoon, but still Team Dignitas are making it work. A double Sonya has already claimed the life of Sake, and it looks like Tist will go down as well.
Yes, Zelia coming over here, he will get taunted, but yes, Tist falls, and Team Dignitas getting 2 more kills here. It's 4-0 overall as they continue to keep getting these kills, but overall the map control once again has been in MVP Black's favor.
Oof, that is rough. Not only losing 2 kills, losing a little bit of momentum, but losing the Master's Touch stacks in this game. That is rough for MVP Black.
Yeah, Sake was there with a Force of Will to help out Varian and the immediate turnaround from Dignitas. They've gotten really good at here at changing the targets when they need to, especially when you're facing Medivh. They face Medivh all the time in Europe, so they definitely have the practice here. Now, all members starting to group up for MVP Black. They know that it's time for Dragon here as the bottom has been popped out. A new Rex floating around the bottom as well, looking for the next target he can cocoon, as Ultimate Evolution will be up in 8 seconds.
MVP Black trying to reclaim control of mid and bot. Thanks to the forts being down, they know that those waves can push harder. Abathur trying to help as much as he can versus that, but still you can see how far the waves have been pushed for MVP. So top has to be the main bastion of control for Team Dignitas.
Sake floating in the top left. We do see that he's near the Sonya, just trying to scare them slightly here, but Dignitas won't answer the call. Multiple members rotate the top. But this is actually just a setup. This is a really solid play from Sake, so they can push in the bottom here with their Greymane, but JPL is not having any of it. They move in, and they're looking for Kyocha. Leyline Seal hitting 3 members, and Kyocha will start to run away. Can he get out? Mane burning him. Grenade hits. Bakery doesn't have a punch available. The Force of Will. Kyocha goes back in, and he gets taken out under the fort.
Oh, that portal portal was not a portal to safety, my friend, and there's no adaptation. It's isolation, so it's really just down to the essence, the force of will, and the heals of Malfurion. But Team Dignitas knew that there would be members of MVP Black pushing in the bottom, and they punished.
That's the theme of the game here. Yes, they push in the top left and they get the fort and they get a kill, but they lost their keep wall in the bottom right corner, which could be more valuable, especially with the dragon popping up relatively soon. JPL chasing Sake, but he should be able to sneak out while the rest of the team rotates in. A Nubrak taunted, a Nubrak taking damage, Malfurion root down.
Amazing job by Sake to be able to keep the members of Dignitas here, but JPL makes it out. They didn't want to proc the palm, and so no kills so far for MVP Black, but they're going back in with the portal.
The portal for the engage, and Karazine gets burned down. Bakery has lost his life. Here, Sonya spinning here on the right side. Will be taunted. She gets a kill, though. Dahaka falls, but so does Sonya.
Snitch trying to chase down Sake, almost got the Sake kill, which again would have reset the Master's touch stacks, but didn't quite get it. Turning around, trying to help out the team after Sonya went down. It's blow for blow here in game number 2 between Team Dignitas and MVP. MVP still holding on to the battleground, but that long fight enabled Abathur to help soak, so it's really close in experience.
Yeah, he's able to get some experience in the bottom. Had to hat during that fight for the Tychus, but yes, blow for blow trade overall. The fort's still alive in the top left. MVP Black is sitting pretty as they move towards that late game, that 16, that 20. Especially here with 13 hitting for Medivh, and they have the portals up consistently. They can always force the engages the moment taunt is up. I am worried for Dignitas. MVP Black grabs a dragon, and remember, they have a keep wall broken on the bottom right.
Yeah, if MVP Black can get through the fight and they pull the fight to a location away from a shrine that they already get, and they're able to somewhat win it, or at least force a lot of heroic abilities, then Black gets both of the shrines every time and then can quickly rotate in. And because so many resources were used in the fight, Team Dignitas doesn't have a lot to stop the Dragon Knight from getting picked up. So now MVP Black trying to get 16, trying to take down a keep and get some catapult pressure against Dignitas.
Odin up in 13 seconds if they need to use it for defense. JPL stands forward, pops up Kyocha here. They'll get him down to half health with simple grenades and such. However, MVP Black is moving towards 16. They want to burn out this turret. If they hit level 16, even fall out of the dragon, then go for a fight. In fact, they do. They taunt Zelia. Zelia turns around and starts spinning here. He gets some health overall, and Kyocha is actually being burned down pretty quickly on this dragon.
Yeah, this Dragon Knight is almost gone. Snitch has been using Carapace just to keep the keep alive, and 16 is not here for MVP Black. Team Dignitas hoping to get a kill before that happens.
I love it. They move in for the play. They defend their keep. It does fall down to a quarter health, but Sake looming above Dignitas does threaten the portal, and they have to pull back. You have to respect that bird, especially when your Sonya's in the top right corner working on mercenary camps, trying to get an advantage somewhere else while you're behind.
And you can always expect this from the Korean teams. If they want a structure and they don't quite get it with an objective, if they have any advantage at all, any perceived advantage, they will get a camp in that lane and keep trying to take down that structure. In this case, they don't take out the keep, but they do force an Odin.
Yep, that's the answer there from Dignitas. Okay, you want to get our keep? Here's our Odin, which is going to be unfortunate for them as they won't have that cooldown around for the next fight. However, they still have tools to burn down Varian, of course, Dahaka, if they're able to use them when one, parry's not up, and also the burrow for Dahaka, so they can still go into fights once they hit that level 16, but patience will have to be important here for Dignitas as they finally get themselves on the even talents.
Yeah, playing a Tychus into a Varian feels pretty bad, man.
Yes, it does. Oh my gosh, Malfurion and crew hitting level 16, so does Dignitas. Look at this build here for Greymane, ready to shred through anything that gets in their way, Sonya in particular.
Yes, Alpha Killer has been added on now to Greymane's build. And now 16 versus 16, both teams scaling up. We have to keep our eye on Sonya, though.
You called this. The keep in the bottom right. They have found a small advantage, and MVP Black takes it. They grab the first keep of Dragonshy here in game 2, but JPL upset. He drops Cocoon. He's forcing an engage.
He is hoping that they can get the engage, at least zone away the rest, but there's always going to be a portal and a force of will, and it's Tist who's inside. Everyone else from Team Dignitas hoping to get on the other side of that portal, but look at the protects from Force of Will from Perry. MVP Black seem like they want to start turning this fight around trick.
Leyline Seal comes out. We also have a silent Sonya on the back left. She can't spin quite yet. There she can now finally, but Sonya gets blown up. A new bracket trouble too. Reset moving in. Mayday on the back right going to be healed by Bakery. He drops a grenade, but Reset will live.
Oh, Bakery was hoping to go for the kill, but Reset's got the jukes.
He got the juke, he went right, and he was fine there. He's gonna live, and he's gonna get topped off by his teammates. The core in trouble, though, as MVP Black starts pushing in. Mane using Odin just to defend, and it looks like it'll be enough.
It is enough. Everyone from MVP Black fairly low. Yes, they have Force of Wills, and they have Meriday on Malfurion, but Meriday getting pretty low on mana. And MVP Black just not feeling confident, like they have enough of an advantage to be able to close out the game right there. So they take the safe call, they go back, they tap, they can re-engage if they like, or they can look for yet another Dragon Knight.
Bakery hoping the delay here on the top. He charges in, but Kyocha, ooh, just barely hasn't grabbed it. So Bakery will buy time for his teammates. He has to be careful though. Medivh is on the way. Bakery goes on the right side, gets away from his opponents, and he's bought time for his team to spawn as 5 here to defend against a possible dragon that could be coming in. Dignitas looking for a fight while Greymane sneaks the dragon.
Yeah, they're looking to see if they can get a kill, knowing that somebody will be taking the Dragon Knight. So now this is a 5v4 with all of Dignitas here, but they don't get a kill yet. Another portal sits on top of the cocoon, hoping to save the members of MVP Black. Taunt comes in, Xaylia in front. MVP Black hoping for the first kill of the fight.
Sake drops Leyland Seal. He is destroying in this fight right now. Xaylia is able to get away. Bakery finally helping out there with the cleanse. Can Xaylia help get a kill? Now, meanwhile, the dragon in the bottom right is pushing in. Tychus, however, is holding that out. Finally, a member falls. Bakery will self-palm to survival. They keep 4 people in the top. And Dignitas is going to be able to hold that dragon as Mane with the Abathur hat was able to live through it.
Yeah, MVP Black were trying to keep all the members of Dignitas busy so they couldn't defend versus this Dragon Knight. But Mane, 1 Tychus and 1 Abathur dealt so much damage to the Dragon Knight that now Reset just doesn't have a lot of health left. The rest of MVP Black are starting to rotate in. There's only Sonya down for 20 seconds. Odin has started to be popped. Can Dignitas defend their core?
Incredible heads-up play, but yes, can they hold it here? JP gets out with the burrow. We have Tychus in the top left working an auto attacks. The core is starting to fall. Abathur hat on top of it, increasing the attack speed to get more shots out. And Team Dignitas is going to hold. They only lose 2% on their core, and JPL's not done. He charges in.
Kyocha is low, and remember, he does not have adaptation. It's isolation. So he really wanted to get out of that fight and quickly. Team Dignitas holds. They're still down a level, they're still down a keep, but they hold.
Impressive from both teams there. MVP Black trying to hold Dignitas in the top left. Dignitas deciding to keep 3 people up there to allow for them to defend, and they have the heads-up play to send Tychus back to defend the core, saving and wasting an entire dragon, saving their core too. Dignitas playing lights out, but 20 looms here for MVP Black. They are 3/4 away from grabbing that important level.
Yeah, it was so cool to see that decision on both sides and how it unfolded, but in the end, it was better for Team Dignitas. At least for now, there is a cocoon. All the rest of the members of MVP Black trying to get Reset out, Force of Will, and Leyline Seal.
Big Leyline Seals on the back right. Can Tisk go in and force anything? No, not quite yet. While Xaylia's in the front left as well. Tisk using Protect to get away, using the parry constantly. Snitch even bottom blocking, but Sake will be able to drop the portal and get him away.
This is just a clone. It has been removed, but MVP Black are getting closer and closer to Storm Tier talent. Sake checking out to see if he can get an aggressive portal for his team. Love the use of portal, by the way, to be able to help his team get back for a quick tap.
Both defensive and offensively, Sake is playing lights out for his team and has done so well. Dignitas has yet to get any more kills since the mid-game here, as they're still sitting at 6. Now, Kyocha is going to defend the top lane that has been pushed in here by Abathur and minions. They will get that wall, which will award them some experience to get them closer to level 20. But the main story right now, the shrines have activated, and there are 2 for the pickings.
Yeah, MVP Black is trying to set up for lethal. They're getting the Bruiser camp in the bottom, which will push that lane really hard, straight up to the core. Look at Team
They're out of vision. Oh, they're so
Yeah.
brilliant right now. If Kyocha oversteps at all, they can go for an engage and go for a kill, but Kyocha doesn't move towards that bridge. What a risky move from Dignitas.
Both teams playing out of their minds. Oh, Tisk finds somebody to taunt. Cleansing touch, though, from Bakery.
Want to note, we have invisibility from Medivh, by the way. They are trying to make their variant go invisible
so
and
cool.
charge in and try to get into an engage. Doesn't pay off there, but MVP Black looking to be sneaky here. Dignitas will need to be close together, and Bakery has to make sure that he lands those Radiant dashes.
Kyocha is holding on to the point now. Greymane checking out to see if he can get the Dragon Knight, but the fight has started to break out. Palm procs.
Palm is proc. We're also going to have the cleanse come out the last second. Odin will be used as well. We do have already Sake on top of the dragon. He grabs it. He's heading for for a core while the rest of MVP Black goes for the fight.
That is Medivh inside of the Dragon Knight, so this might be a possibility for Team Dignitas, but they are just now getting 20, but that is huge for Sonya. She has ignored pain.
Tiss is diving a fort here just to make sure nobody is heading home. Bakery turns around for the kill. Sonya falls, and look at the core of the Dragons on top of it. Tiss doing such a great job, 60%, dropping even more here as Dignitas has nobody to stop him. Finally, Tychus will show up to defend the core. He's going to be bringing it down to a quarter health, 30%, 25%. They're going all in on it. Can they get it? Yes, they do. MVP Black will tie up the series against Dignitas 1-1.
We've got a series on our hands for the final series of day 1 here at DreamHack Summer. MVP Black showing stellar Medivh play, even in spite of losing their Masters touch stacks. The Medivh plus Malfurion supporting so good, and it was so difficult for Team Dignitas to ever get kills with this never die composition.
That's right, MVP Black in the macro game just really outclassed Dignitas in that game. They had some kills in the early game, were looking really solid, but when it came to mid to late game, you're right, Sake was just playing lights out. There was never an opportunity for Dignitas to move in and secure a takedown with Perry being available, Force of Will, of course, Meriday playing lights out too with his healing, staying there with the roots and whatnot. So overall, MVP Black, they're looking like they're heating up for the tournament.
Yeah, there have been 2 picks so far. The MVP Black seem to cause fear in anybody, and it's that Medivh and their Chen. I can't wait to hear what the analyst panel has to say about game number 2.
Bit more of the MVP Black that we're used to seeing there, controlling the map pretty well, really not losing too many structures at all, and constantly being in control of that objective, Kaldor.
Yeah, also Medivh really coming online in a lot of these fights, enabling Greymane and setting with the ley line seal some fantastic Malfurion ults up.
The Medivh just really made it almost impossible for Dignitas to kill anyone. You know, they got some kills throughout the course of the game, but every time Dignitas tried to fight, if it was a bad fight, Medivh just bailed all of MVP out. So yeah, it worked out really well in the end there.
Yeah, the biggest power spikes from Dignitas really came from when Odin was online with that base attack speed increase from Abathur on the Adrenal Overload. But even when everyone dropped really low on team MVP Black, they were just able to indeed go back with the portal, and there was nothing really to keep them there. Not that Stitch's JPL hook that we saw before in the previous game.
And Fan, once you open up bottom lane on a map like Dragonshire, it can be very, very difficult for a team to kind of bring it back, right?
Yeah, definitely, especially when you have an Abathur just solo defending, and we do have a replay here that shows the ending sequence of that fight. So if we could pause for a moment right here just to take into account what's happening on the map. So we see there is a Night Camp pressuring core actually, and Abathur is trying to defend it. There's catapults going bottom lane because of the lack of the keep there. So there is already a lot of pressure on bottom side. And one thing that Dignitas could have done to counter this Dragon Knight play here is I think Snitch still had burrow up. He could have actually burrowed to bottom shrine and then immediately channeled recall. You have the Haka in vision here. That is one of the niche plays you can use as Abathur on this map to kind of get away with, you know, stopping a Dragon Knight from channeling. But as we play on here, MVP, they recognize that they're winning the fight there. They actually get the palm off. They pick off the Anubrak in rotate, force the palm cooldown. One of them, Medivh, goes straight for the Dragon Knight. And if we pause again right here, MVP immediately realizes who is on top lane. Top lane, there's a Sonya and a Tychus, and that is all the damage that can kill the Dragon Knight. This was actually the second time MVP tried this exact same strategy. First time Dragon Knight got here, there was a Tychus. Dragon Knight died, didn't get a single % off keep, even though it was like a 1 versus 1. This time around, Tychus, Sonya, top side. So as long as you keep their damage from backing, you have a pretty late game Dragon Knight. They have no keep. Their core is under pressure. There's catapults mounted bottom side that they can't clear. So once they get this Dragon Knight, and once they recognize that, hey, all your damage is right here. Like it doesn't matter what we do. If the Dragon Knight reaches core, we win. So you see here, reset, he actually starts hitting this very good to break the channel. But even if he didn't, we had a variant literally tower diving because it just doesn't matter at that point. You showed your damage topside. You didn't burrow to intercept the Dragon Knight, and at that point, if DK gets to your core, it's game over.
Did you see though the Tychus used his Q? I don't know what it's called in Odin form, the rockets in a straight line, and he was like this much away from canceling the Dragon Knight. We had level 19.9 for Team Dignitas. So although they had been treading water, and basically trying to stay alive. And they were up against 5 forts on MVP Black. They did have more takedowns than Black, and they did still have the Abathur effect, the level 20 Sonya effect. So I do feel like it definitely wasn't luck, because MVP Black was winning the map the entire game. But if there ever was going to be a turnaround, I think had he just been able to nab Greymane there, it wasn't Greymane, it was Medivh
channeling.
Had he just been able to cancel Medivh channeling it, level 20 would be reached. Dragon Knight isn't taken yet. They can continue to interrupt, and maybe it would have looked different, but.
I actually thought that there was a really good chance for Dignitas to come back into this because, as you said, the map was very much dominated by MVP Black, and at times they just controlled everything. But as fans said earlier, when they made the first approach with the Dragon Knight towards the core, they burned a ton of resources and they had so much going for them, and they effectively didn't get anything. They could have gone into the mid lane, tried to go for a second keep, but they tried to end the game. And that brought Dignitas nearly back to the same level in the 20 talent. So Black had a really good shot here to take it, and I think it was one of their last before we had a super even game again.
And MVP could have spent even more up to the top if they needed it. They could have let themselves all die off, and the Dragon Knight would have been sufficient to kill the core. For now, though, we are going to go to a short break. When we are back, game number 3 on the way here between Dignitas and MVP Black.